if y'all might be willing to talk about the one of the things I found most striking in the book, in its political understanding, was the depth of its understanding of the complexity of the African American political structure and substructure in North Carolina, and how that complexity works against our being able to follow up on the larger truths of President Obama's 2008 victory here.
Yeah, so there are several characters in this book that are operating within this kind of grand strategy. And the Ron Johnson campaign is kind of hearing people talking out of both sides of their head. Right? So on one particular day, one particular event, Carrie Jameson, who is an important political operative in this book, is with Ron. She's out fundraising. She's offering help with GOTV efforts. She's in the endorsement committee for Black PAC, pushing for him. And then, Al will be in Winston-Salem, and he'll hear that Carrie is working for Bill Billingsworth, who is one of the three candidates in this race. Quietly working for Bill Billingsworth, but kind of not so quiet. At the same time, she's also apparently advising Jane, who is the third candidate in this race. So it's funny, but what underlies it isn't funny. There is a sense amongst these characters that they've got to pick the winner, right? No one wants to pick the losers. And underlying the grand strategy, right, what gives it life, what it breathes on, is this kind of two-step, I call it. So, step one, there's this racism thing still out there, right? People are racist, there are racists out there. And therefore, a black person can't win, okay? I'm not racist, but I'm just telling you there's this thing out there called racism, and as a consequence of it, Ron Johnson can't win. That's step one. Step two, vote for me because I'll do the things that your guy would do, but for this racism. So what this does is so the African Americans in the book that are heeding this and taking it to heart are stripping themselves of the very power that they have, right? Which is recognized in the two-step itself, right? It exists to convince you that you can't do the thing that you obviously can do, right? Because if you couldn't do it, then there wouldn't be a need for the two-step. So it's easy, but it's hard, right? So I mean, that to me is really at the crux of what's animating not just the African American characters, but also everyone else. It isn't based in any kind of racial animus, I don't think, for the most part. It's just kind of this fixation with the way things have been done and wanting to have a seat at the table. And so the way you hear articulated often in the book is that he doesn't have a chance of winning. So what do you want me to do here? Sorry. Again, what's frustrating is that these are, again, the same people that just 9 months before bought into the idea that an African American named Barack Hussein Obama, right? Not Ron Johnson, but Barack Hussein Obama from Hawaii, so father from Africa, all the different kind of things going on there. That was fine. But what you hear characters saying in this book is, this is too much progress, right? This is too soon, right? You're stepping out of your place. That's all code, right? Because clearly he wasn't stepping out of his place. In many ways, if you look at the character of Ron Johnson, he's eminently more qualified than Barack Obama, right? My diagnosis of this, I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to diagnose, is that many people saw Barack Obama as kind of a purple squirrel. And there's this guy out here, Barack Obama, and he's kind of different from the rest of you guys. I don't care if you went to Harvard, I don't care if Barack Obama's here, and you're here. All right? End of discussion. And I think that, until Democrats figure out how to move past kind of doing things because they've been done a certain way, right, we're going to continue to have these problems. Now, I will say this, jumping back into the real reality, not the virtual reality. I think, and people in this room might come up here and escort me out for saying this. I'm going to say it anyway. Donald Trump's win, to me, had the potential to do the thing for the Democratic Party that it's been unable to do. The Democratic Party has a progressive problem. The Republicans famously in 08, in the aftermath of the election, did an autopsy. They found that they had a black and brown. See, I'm talking about Donald Trump. That's all. They found that they had a black and brown problem, right? The Democrats have a progressive problem. And Hillary Clinton, and the kind of, I like Hillary, but I'm going to speak plainly here. Hillary Clinton is part of a corporate liberal establishment that determines who your candidates are going to be, what policies you ought to push in Washington. And, I think that many people got tired of being told every, 2 and 4 years, this is who your person is going to be this year. And they said, look, I don't love Donald Trump, but I'm tired of this, right? It's kind of top-down politics instead of bottom-up, right? Which is what, in theory, we're supposed to be doing, right? We're supposed to be hiring people to represent the people, right? I really do believe that this election is going to spur the kind of attention and action and kind of clarity and honesty about what we've been doing wrong that will finally get Democrats to start thinking critically about what's going on and to start engaging everybody, not just the people that write the checks, but to start engaging. What is engagement? Engagement means going to the people and talking to them. I know this is a foreign concept to some people, right? Go to the people and ask them, what do you want to see? What do you want us to do? We're not doing that. Ron Johnson tried to do that in this book, and he was told by the party, he was told by political operatives, he was told by rank and file Democrats, I like you, but I can't be with you. And that is, I think, to me, it's kind of stripping ourselves of our power to do the things that we can do if we figure our own issues out. And stop relying on the Republican Party to be just so off the radar that we assume, right, that we're going to have Democrats with us come the general election. And I think that was the primary issue that Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party, that was the primary miscalculation, that the Bernie Sanders folks would come back because Donald Trump is Donald Trump, right? We're not Donald Trump. That was the strategy, right? If you listen to Hillary Clinton on the stump, well, Donald said this today. Oh yeah, he said it yesterday, he's going to say it again tomorrow, right? What is your strategy? And so I think that was what we saw. In my book, I'm making the argument, it isn't just all, sad news here. I mean, I want you to read this book and get angry about the missed opportunity in 2010 for sure. That was a bloodbath. We lost 63 seats in the House. That was the biggest loss since 1948. You're talking about off-cycle elections, and you go back to 1938. It was major, and we slept through that. While the Republicans got strategic from day one. We know what Mitch McConnell said right after Barack Obama was elected. He said it to everybody. He wasn't in some room, so we're going to ruin this president. That's our goal. And they went out and they did their best to do it, and they were successful in 2010. I hope with this book that we get thoughtful about what's happening and get honest about it and kind of stop shoving the things we don't want to talk about under the rug.